Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 67. It feels great to be back. Thank you very much to Brady and Jack for holding down the fort last week. My throat is still crook. But hey ho, we shall make the best of it this week. Lovely. Brady, how have you been?
Been good. Been working too much. Not enough disc golf. Missed Oscar on the weekend, but I heard and saw that you played well.
Single disc round, which I managed to take out, but who plays around with one disc, eh? Managed to not quite take out the championship round, but hey ho, well done to Simon Fogarty for doing so. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to go through hot scores, and then we've got Hayley Flintoft on the show. She is back. She's back on the New Zealand disc golf scene. It's great to see her, and we've got an interview with her to talk all about Lismore, which happened last weekend. We'll have some results from that as well. We'd like to talk a little bit about there's some disc golf on the telly, Brady. Some New Zealand disc golf on the telly. Well, if you've got YouTube on the telly, so yeah, take a look out for that. We'll have a little bit more information about that coming up, and also we want to talk a little bit about some of the communications or lack thereof we've had from the New Zealand Disc Golf Board, which we'll get to shortly. Okay, excellent. Let's go through hot scores to begin with. Starting down south in Invercargill, Norman Tudor, 13 under par. Tip of the cap to you, sir, for taking out the hot round this week. Over at Chingford, it's Chris McLean and Maz who tied to take out a 6 under par hot score. Across to Brockville, and it's Tom Kay and Harry Fraser's 5 under par is good enough for the hot round this week. And up in Queenstown, Gus van Gisteren goes around the gardens in 11 under par. Willie Tratton was over in Wanaka for last weekend, and while he was there, he took out the hot round at Ely Point with a 3 under par, and it was Callie Thompson and Matt Pritchard who tied for the Lismore hot score with an 8 under par, so well done to them. Back in Christchurch at Jelly Park, Gregor Brosnan hits 14 under par, well done to him. And Queen's Park Reserve, Marna Placid and Kilu, I don't know if I pronounced that right, a 6 under par, so well done to them. And of Brooker Ave, it's Kyle and Jeremy Brockenshire, who are 8 under par. Brady takes through the north.
Going through the north, starting ever here in the capital in Berhampore, out in the hills, Francis Orange comes in with a -7 this week, so good shooting, Francis. I'm out of Koi Reserve on the foreshore. It is Simon Fogarty, the Oscar winner, coming in at -3. And up in the valley, Harcourt Park, KJ Carrig comes in at -1 for the hot round this week. Up in Palmy, up in the flat, Linkletter Reserve, Joel Simpson back to form, coming in at -7 this week. Good shooting, Joel. Back to Lakeside in Spa Park, we have Steve Lawson coming in at -1 on the red course. Good shooting, Steve, local holding it down. Out in Taranaki in Maryland, we have Andy Wall, Sammy Hartog, and Devin Taylor all tying this week at -2. Over in Rotorua, the Tree Nursery, we have Narimu Hapu and Micah Scholler coming in at +1 this week. Good to see people still playing. And out at Flaxmere, none other than Anthony Rogers coming in at -7 for the league layout in Flaxmere. Up at the extreme, Tauranga McLaren Falls, Quentin Suppers comes in at -1 for the hot round. And at the Big Smoke, Henderson, we have Sam Hitchie and King Patty coming in at -9. And at Rosedale on the 8 holes, we have Simon Veal and Marno Hearn coming in at -2. Little shout out to Waiheke, the course that still is the Waiheke Sports Ground. Aiden Hurley was the only one to play this week and shoots the hot round of -6. So good shooting, Aiden. Good to see it still getting played.
Fantastic. Yeah, so some great scores there. And some good scores at Lismore at the weekend. I'll just briefly go over the results. In the Open Division, Jay Watkinson took it out by about 7 shots before going into the finals round. We'll have a little chat about the finals round in a minute. Over Levi Stout, who was 4 shots ahead of Dom Hayden, who played incredibly well. So well done to Dom. That's an incredible result. To come third in a very, very strong field. And then you had Isaac Howard and Ethan Stout tied in 4th, a shot ahead of Ryan Cambridge and Johnny Ferrari in 6th, and Joseph Berry and Hemi Tefitu tied for 8th. Over in the ladies division, Hayley Flintoft took it out quite comprehensively, shooting a very competitive 904 rated event rating, that is. 3 under par. And over in the advanced division, young gun Sebastian Faulkner takes it out by 2 shots over Cameron Verco Gronen, with a bit of a comeback in the final round. So well done to them. So our guest this evening is none other than the winner of the FPO division in Lismore this weekend just gone, is Hayley Flintoft. So good evening, Hayley.
Hi, how's it going, crew?
Very
good to have you back. How have you been?
Good. Parent life's pretty awesome. Little man's keeping us pretty busy. He can put the disc in the basket now. So yeah.
How old is Sylvan now?
It's been really awesome. He's 14 months.
14 months. Yeah. Wow. So he's starting to walk. Can he walk?
He started to really take off now. Like,
oh yeah, okay,
yeah. Every day he's on his feet.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. And if he knows what a disc and a basket is, that's a great start.
Yeah. He was brilliant for the weekend as well. It was awesome. We had a accompanying non-playing adult. Thank you, Julie. And she just kind of cruised around the park with the pram and checked in on us every now and then, and it was great. He was awesome.
So this isn't your first tournament since Sylvan's been born, but it is your first tournament for a while.
For a while this year. Yeah. We missed out on
and your first tournament win as a mum as well. Is that right? I read that somewhere. Where did I read that?
It might be, actually. I've been playing pretty awfully since I gave birth. So
Happy Mother's Day. Congratulations on your win.
Yeah, cheers.
So let's just cover, because you've not played on the tour for some time. How do you and you've come out in your first tournament back and shot an incredibly competitive over 900 rated event score. How do you stay? Were you still putting in the same amount of practice, although not competing?
Not really. It's been quite hard to get the practice in recently. And I definitely noticed my putting wasn't that strong on the weekend either. It was definitely not up to what I know I can shoot. And it's just finding time around little man. Like, it's definitely it's taking off now. It took me a year to recover pretty much and wrap my head back around competing again and getting out and practicing more. And now that he's on the move a lot more as well, it's I'm definitely really excited to get back into the competition side of it and get my rating back up, because that fell quite a ways because I stormed ahead. That was a bit of a sad day when it got under 900 again. So it'll be nice to get that back up.
Well, and I know kind of before you took your break, you'd started to compete in the advanced divisions. Was playing in the women's division like a measured choice and like a slow comeback? Do you plan to slide back into those advanced divisions, or kind of what is that going to look like going forward?
Oh, playing in the men's division.
Yeah.
That was purely because I didn't have the competition. There was just no women in the opens, and I can't play in the women's advanced because of my rating. But yeah, it was quite fun playing in the men's division while I was heavily pregnant. I was actually quite surprised at how well I played while I was pregnant. Maybe I need a few extra pounds on me to get a bit of weight behind it. But yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the fact that I've met so many women in the last year that I've got the bug, and they're just getting better and better and better. And there's going to be some juniors coming up soon. And unless I get out and start practicing, then there's going to be some really, really amazing talent coming out in the next few years, I reckon, in the female division for sure. There already is. They're just getting better and better every time I meet them. So yeah, it's great. Yeah,
I was going to say, have you noticed any? Although I'm making it sound like you've sort of disappeared off the face of the earth for a time. You didn't do that at all, obviously. So you were aware of what was going on in New Zealand disc golf events, although you may not have been competing yourself. Did you find that there was any difference in the ladies division, people you'd not played before, or more ladies competing?
I've been keeping my eye on the scores like pretty much every tournament just to see where the ladies are, like how they're scoring and who's taking it out and all that sort of stuff. And I definitely know there's a few coming up that have just, you can tell they've got the bug. And when you've got the bug, you're just going to get better and better and better. And it's only a matter of time. Like, I definitely found I got to a certain level and kind of plateaued a little bit. And it's only going to take some serious practice to get past that. And I could probably easily sit here for a few years unless I actually put in the hard work and the training to get better. Then these other women are going to come up and give me some right old battles, and it's going to be great. But yeah, I just got to keep on top of it and keep practicing and keep training to get better.
Well, and I know you were doing kind of like myself, you're doing a bit of coaching and that kind of stuff and like helping people out, like off the course. Will you be like passing on your secrets to this next generation, or are you going to kind of hold them to the belt and, like try to outdo them and have them chase you down?
Yeah, I definitely pass on any information and tips that I possible. I like the challenge. It is great to see these women coming through and just getting better. Like playing with Nicola Stout on the weekend was awesome. She's a very consistent player. I really love playing rounds with her. I like watching her throw. She's got a really just nice, relaxed technique. I felt like sometimes I'd walk up to the tee box and rip one, and then she'd just casually throw one up, and it's only a couple of meters behind my drive. And I'm like, oh, that looks so effortless. And yeah, it was really nice. She was, I think, my closest competition on the weekend too. She said that she got a few birdies on the next day as well, which was really good. Yeah, the weekend was great. The boys did an amazing job putting together a 32-hole course on Lismore, so we got to use so much more of the park. It was. Some of the holes were very challenging too in the forest. Definitely shots. Some really, really well placed holes, which was great.
Yeah. Did it flow okay?
What was that?
Did it flow okay? Yeah. I think the kind of the because at Lismore, what comes to me when you say I'm going to put 32 holes on this course is there enough space to for the flow of a tournament to play with that many holes? How did you find that?
There was a couple of holes where you had to watch out because the fairways didn't really cross over, but there was a couple just in next to each other. But I mean, everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone watches out, and it flowed really nicely. It actually, we didn't get held up at all. And the rounds took exactly how long they thought it was going to take, about 4 hours.
Yeah.
No,
which is reasonable,
it was
I suppose,
lovely.
for 32.
And the weather held out. It was only a little bit rainy on Sunday. Yeah, we didn't get our famous wins, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt and I are lucky enough to have come down and played Lords of Lismore in the past, and your sponsor, Vortica Discs, puts on a good show. For us North Islanders, what should we expect out of Vortica and coming down to Lismore? What was the tournament like on the weekend?
Oh, it was lovely. The Disc Golf Wanaka crew and Vortica always put on an amazing event. It's got all the bells and whistles. Even the small things like that after the Kai put on the drinks in the evening, which was really nice to go gather down there, and Paz and Wanaka Lawn Care and Vortica put on the Moonlight Disc Golf on the Friday night, which is always a good laugh. And Cooper ran his first tournament and he did an excellent job. It kind of feels a bit weird to not be a part of the setup crew and going and helping set up and pack down and all that sort of stuff. Usually me and Kyle would be right in there, but at the moment we're like, okay, small person, we're going to go deal with this small person now. But I mean, they nailed it, and it was really awesome to kind of watch from the sideline even and be like, "Yay, go crew!" It was a really well done tournament. And they managed to add a couple more holes to get more people to play in it as well. So yeah, it was lovely. It was nice to see everyone.
So Wanaka's obviously your and Lismore is your kind of home tournament, if you like. Do you think you'll get to many away tournaments?
We're booked in for Omarama, which is Sub-Zero, which is Morgan's new one on the golf course.
Fantastic.
I'm very excited about that. I got a babysitter lined up. Yeah. And we've got Timaru booked in as well because my mum lives there, so I've got another babysitter. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't rain as much in Timaru this year.
Let's hope not.
But apparently he's got umbrellas in the players pack, so we should be right. Get given an umbrella, we won't need them. Yeah. Yeah, and we'll definitely be booking in for Twizel, always. Yeah, we're gonna try and get to as many as we can. It all just depends on getting a babysitter, really. But we managed to pull it off so far.
This is great. So seeing you back on tour on a more or less, South Island full-time basis, I suppose, would be great to see. Fantastic. Because you're going to have some challenge, right? Because Nicola's kind of owned the South Island to a degree with yourself and Leanna not playing. And she's certainly capable of putting on some strong courses, so rounds even. So we look forward to seeing how that gets on. And you're going to be coming in at just the right time at the start of the new season. Lismore was the last tournament of the season, I believe.
Yep, the end of the old one. Yep,
that's right. So the new season will start with, what will it start with? Timaru, I guess, will be the first one.
Marama?
Yeah.
It's Generation. I don't think that's NZDG.
It might not be NZDG, but it's Generation Disc Golf, certainly. I'm sure Morgan will let us know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, and as like now that you're back in the swing of things, and like before we get into Desert Island Disc Golf, like what are your like goals for this year? Like what are you hoping to come back and kind of achieve being back on tour? You said your rating was one of them, right?
Yeah, getting my rating back up. Like if I can just attend as many tournaments as I can, if I could get 6 tournaments in before the end of the year, I'd be stoked. Getting my rating up there is one, which is I just want to get a bit more consistent, and I would like to play a few rounds more to my potential. I haven't done that for a long time. Like one of the rounds in Twizel felt really awesome, and I got myself on the league card. And that felt really nice. It had been quite a while since I'd played like that, and I would like to get a few more of those in. Just because when you're in that zone, it's easy. And it's a really nice feeling when you can get there. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for at the moment, which is just going to take more practice. I need to get out and do some more training, more field work, more putting.
That's right. I mean, how do you practice? I know it sounds like might seem like a daft question, but if you've got a routine, or is it go to the course and play rounds, or how do you
usually
do it?
It's just go to the course and play rounds when I can. I've got bubs with me, and to be honest, for this first year, while just being a new mum, very scattered. So it's been quite hard to just focus in like I would usually used to. Getting out into the field, just taking a bag full of discs, getting out to the field and throwing drives, obviously. But one thing I've noticed with the putting is this is probably what got me on the weekend. I've spent a long time out there taking pot shots at a distance and practicing missing. And so since the weekend, every day I've been out there and I'm doing 4 meters, 5 meters, 6 meters and slowing everything down and being like drilling. I need that muscle memory back because I need the confidence back because I didn't have the confidence on the weekend.
I think it's amazing, If you
definitely,
if you can be like 95% from 6 meters, I think that's you're probably doing all right. You're probably doing okay. We've got a question from the listeners. Rebecca asked, when did you take the leap moving from advanced to open? I think this is quite a good question actually, because there's a lot of ladies playing in the FA1 and not so many in FPO. So I guess Rebecca's going, how do we know when to make that jump, up?
Well, what happened to us, I think the second or the third year that we started playing, we ended up playing on the New Zealand team, and because of how the team did, we got second, and we won money for that for the first Worlds. So they explained to us while we were over there sitting in Canada, going like, if you take this money, you'll become professional. And at the time it was like, we're traveling, we're taking the money. And we became professional really quickly. It's been really interesting over the years as well, just with the dynamics of how, because I can understand how it works overseas, but not having the numbers here in New Zealand and having all these new divisions and stuff popping up, it's just been fascinating to watch. Growing pains, really. Like we're slowly sussing it out, and we're slowly getting more players as well to fill those spots. As far as when you know to be ready, I think just look at other people's ratings and try and fit yourself in to where you feel you're going to get the most competition. You know, sometimes it's good to throw yourself in the deep end and put yourself up against people that are higher rated than you. And yeah, you're going to learn a lot that way. I reckon just everyone should just come play Women's Open. But it'd be awesome to have way more of a field. Because it's to be honest, it's so lovely to see the advanced category, the women's advanced category, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And some of the competitions that's happening within that division is so exciting to watch, because they're all really close, and they're having like these cool little battles going on as well. So yeah, it's just trust your instincts and just go with what feels right.
I think that's a great point. Play in the division that you feel is going to give you the best competition. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Yeah, right. Okay, we're going to move on to Desert Island Disc Golf. So if you're not familiar with this part of the show, the premise is that Hayley is stranded on a desert island. Now, there is a disc golf course on this desert island, and she's been stranded with 3 of her favorite discs and 3 of her favorite card mates. Now, her card mates can be alive or dead, real or fantasy, seasoned pros, or people she knows. So we'll start off with the discs. What are you throwing, Hayley?
Okay. My driver, very, very pretty Pika.
Nice. Silver on green. I like it.
First throw, I got a wee little ace during Moonlight.
Oh, no way.
First throw, you got an ace.
Oh, during Christmas.
Outrageous.
Ace holes, actually. My
fantastic,
very pretty Kotuku.
Oh,
just
wow.
Because RPM discs are so pretty. And my Pika.
2 Peka
also
Pekas.
very pretty. That way. P Waka Waka.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so they're my 3 discs and my 3. So last time I went with the people that got me into the disc golf. This time I'm going to go with some of my like overseas favorite ladies to play with, which would be Zoe Andyke, Paige Pierce, and Colleen Laura.
Oh, wow. Okay, awesome. That's an incredibly strong card. I think that'd be quite a good competition. Actually, that'd be a good one for GK Pro to cover, certainly.
Yeah,
excellent. Right.
I'm playing with Paige Pierce. She's awesome to watch. Yeah.
Right. Let's move on to the Sweet Shane Safari. 18 questions. The family-friendly front 9. It's easy for me to say. Is up first, and then Safari back 9 is coming later. So first up, what's your name?
Hayley.
What's your PDGA number?
Flintoft. 83693.
Where were you born?
Murchison.
Where do you live now?
Wanaka.
How many years have you been playing?
I want to say 7.
7? Okay. Favorite disc?
Yeah, 7.
And your favorite disc?
My P Waka Waka.
Your favorite course?
Pender Island.
Lovely. Your favorite MPO player?
Kyle.
And your favorite FPO player?
Probably Paige Pierce. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Rocking the Discraft.
Brady,
Let's do a little
thanks for the-
Safari back nine. Let's start with Robin or Ruru.
Ooh.
Tenting or glamping?
Glamping's pretty fun. can't lie.
Cooking or dishes?
Dishes any day. Kyle's a way better cook.
Liquid drum and bass or house remix?
Liquid drum and bass. Sorry.
Brewster Ridge or Fox Run?
Oh, Brewster.
Gotta love those woods.
Oh,
Paradise with baskets or paradise with objects?
oh, paradise with baskets. It's an effort to get them out there, but it's so good.
Would you rather face an 8-meter putt for the win or walk off with an ace for 10th?
Oh. Oh, yeah, I'd go the putt for the win. I'd go the ace for the win. But
No,
putt
ace
the
for
win.
10th.
Yeah,
Okay, would you
I'll
rather
take the putt?
Take
The
the putt.
The 8-meter putt would feel like an ace if it was for the win.
Okay. Lismore in the wind or Tucker's in the frost?
Oh. Tucker's in the frost.
And lastly, hole 18. Would you rather throw 1,000 rated round or be crowned the Aussie national champion?
Oh, I'd like to be the Aussie national champion. That's on my to-do list one day for sure. The
Aussie
1,000 rated
national
round's gonna-
champion.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. There
The
you
1,000
go.
rated
That
round's
is
gonna come on stage.
maybe you'll get it
Absolutely.
becoming the Aussie champ.
There you go. Yeah. No, I'd love to get over to Aussie at some stage. That's definitely on the to-do list.
I think the next couple of years, we're really going to see way more movement. Obviously, over more than the last 2 years, but even before then. So yeah, it's going to be great to see some of the Aussie players over here, and obviously how some New Zealanders get on overseas as well. Good stuff, Hayley. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. We'll be following your progress at all the tournaments you're playing. It's great to have you back on tour, you continue to be an inspiration and an icon for a lot of New Zealand ladies to aspire to.
Thank you very much, guys. Lovely to chat to you and be on here again. I want to say a massive shout out to RPM and Boudica for just being the fucking sponsors with the sorry, I shouldn't say just being awesome. Love it. Again, thanks for having me again. Yeah, have a good night. Cheers, everyone.
Excellent. See you later.
Cheers. Thank you, Hayley. Bah,
Whoa,
don't do that to me.
There we go. Yeah, fantastic to have her back on tour.
Whoop, whoop. Welcome back. Fantail coming back in style. Good to see her get another win. She's been on the power rankings for like ages, but then like doesn't play. And then so it's good to see the power rankings don't lie and that she comes back and dominates the ladies division.
Absolutely, the power rankings do not lie. Although we'll see in a minute, actually, they got a few wrong this week for the first time in a long time. Very competitive, large field. We'll go over a little bit more of that in a bit. Okay.
We did, by the way, Morgan did chime in. The Sub-Zero is an NZDG event, so it will be the first for the coming season, just as a heads up for any of you listeners out there. The Sub-Zero event in Omarama, run by Generation Disc Golf, will be on the NZ Tour. Hey, Morgan, if you're still with us, is it a 40 or 50-pointer? Just because, well, I mean, we can kind of tie this in. I Have you heard anything about it from NZDG?
Right. So, talking of the NZDG tour, right? We had an email, or I'm presuming everybody got this email.
I got it. I think I got it if we're talking about the same one.
On the 9th of May, around 5 o'clock, you hopefully would have got an email from Roberts Crustins, who is the tour director of NZDG, looking for some feedback on the way in which the tour is run, looking to improve the fairness and competitiveness of the tour points scoring. I think it's a very worthy thing to do. Please look through the email and look at the kind of things he's asking for your feedback on, and please provide him your feedback. One of the best ways in which to improve something like a tour series like this is to get information from the people playing the tour. And you know Roberts very well, Brady. I know him a bit, and he's very he will listen to what you've got to say and take it on board. May not be able to enact it. It may be that it may not be practical, but certainly you'll be listened to. So I'd encourage you to find that email and let him know your suggestions.
Heck, if you have any suggestions, leave it here. If you didn't get the email and you want to have your say, leave it here. We'll pass on the note for you. Because honestly, It's like, yeah, like you said, I know Roberts. Roberts has been doing quite a bit of work in the background. I know he pretty much literally built the T-pad and the point system for this year himself. So the idea that, like, he's not the comms director, but I've probably heard more from Roberts this year than I have from any other of the board members. Because aren't we supposed to have like an AGM or something like that at this stage in the year?
So this is interesting, right? And so this is kind of how some of this works. And you're absolutely right. The financial year for the NZDG board is January the 1st to December the 31st. And the constitution of the NZDG says that the current board need to hold an AGM no later than 5 months after the end of the financial year, which is the 31st of May. So 5 months after the 31st of December. They must provide 30 days notice of the upcoming AGM, which puts the deadline for giving notice at the 1st of May.
That was 11 days ago.
Which was 11 days ago. Now, I've not received anything. Let us know in the comments if you have. The only thing we've received is the email from Roberts, which has a line in it, and I'll read it to you now. The tour for the 21-22 season is now concluded. Thanks to everybody for running your events. There is going to be a lot of info coming out from NZDG over the next short while, even though our comms director has been keeping quite silent. Now, that was sent 3 days ago, so I kind of expect to hear some more kind of stuff soon. The bit that concerns me is, in theory, what happens. And I don't know this. I'm not sort of constitutionally educated as many people who are listening might well be.
Well, you come from the UK. You don't have a constitution.
Very good. Very good. Very good. We just got a lot of history. Let's put it that way. Anyway, I'm not sure what happens like at the end of June or at the end of May. Sorry, when kind of the term is kind of finished. So I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't know constitutionally what happens. Do we have a board at that point? And I don't know. It might seem like it's not important, but I'll tell you why it is. Every tournament that you play that's on the NZDG tour, Lismore, Omarama in a few weeks.
Nationals?
Every one of those tournaments, and every time you pay an entry fee, part of that entry fee goes to NZDG. And if there's no board, how is that money being spent? Or, is it just kind of sat there? Who's got the kind of authority to decide how the money that people are paying to be on the tour? How do people decide all that kind of stuff? And what authority does anybody have if they've not followed constitutional process in which to be able to spend that money, to be able to invest it, and to be able to do all the kind of stuff that they said. I was hoping to get some prospective members of the board on the show, rather like we did last year. You'll recall we had a little interview series, which I thought was quite entertaining, with all of the people who put their hands up to go on the board this year, to kind of hear about what they wanted to do. It would be great to do that again, and we'll certainly be inviting people when we know a little bit more. But at the moment, we've had quiet, we've had silence, and we've had zero communications. It's not like we've had a comms which says, "Hey, we're a bit behind. Give us a couple of days, and we'll get it all sorted," and then we'll have stuff to talk about. It's just been nothing, and I don't know. What do you think, Brady? Is it good enough?
Well, I mean, there's part of me that wants to go Matt Drake for president. Like, hands up in the comments below if you agree.
No. Keep your hands down.
I mean, like, I don't know. I've kind of quietly had a lot of discussions with those close to me about NZDG and where it's going. And so, like that idea of, right, like if we don't have a board and like we don't have these points, Johnny Ferrari mentioned it in the comments, the idea that, like, oh, well, they send you an invoice and you pay it. And I'm like, well, that's great. But like, what do we as TDs or we as players like get for this money? Like basically I run an event, like, and I run nationals and I get a bill at the end of it. Did I have NZDG flag show up at my event? No. Did I have, and like, I was going to say, did I have anyone from the NZDG board here? And honestly, Roberts, the tour director, came and like played a national. So, like, again, Roberts doing his job and coming and supporting TDs and events and coming out and playing. But other than that, like, yeah, we have a communications director of our national organization who literally is been described by one of the other board members as silent. And I'm like, you're the comms director. Like, it's your job to be in people's faces and marketing and talking, to make noise. Like, literally, you have one job: make noise. And he's not doing that. They're not doing that. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I running the Greater Wellington Disc Golf Club, I know that like our AGM is coming up in the next couple months. And, like, I've been quietly working in the background to like make that possible and do financial sheets and that kind of stuff. But it's like, the board knows about that, like Greater Wellington knows about that, but like we're a national society, and like what has been publicized on like the Facebook page, what has been publicized on the website, like everything like looks nice and shiny, but it's kind of like this, it honestly feels like one of those old Western movie sets that you see in like really bad American like TV shows, where it's like just the front of the saloon, but like when you walk behind, there's like no actual saloon. It's just like a board that's being held up in place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do,
it's like all like placeholders, but there's like no building.
Yeah. Look, and here's another reason why it's important that we've got a board and we do things properly, etc. Right? This year, one of the benefits, or I should say rewards for winning nationals, which you hosted, was an invitation to the PDGA Champions Cup in 2023. So Jay Watkinson's had the invite. Sorry, we've seen it on PDGA Facebook posts and stuff.
Yep.
So good and awesome that he gets to go and rep New Zealand abroad, right? I would argue if New Zealand Disc Golf does not have an appropriate board that is behaving appropriately, doing things constitutionally correct, and running itself well, right? And when I say well, I just mean,
no, I'll take running it poorly.
Hold your AGM on time.
Give me running it poorly.
Yeah, okay, not running it poorly. Then I'm worried that things like that, things like the invite that gets sent to the winner of New Zealand Nationals, will disappear, and that would be a massive shame for the promotion of New Zealand players on the world stage. And I think that would be real disappointing if it got to the point where New Zealand's position in the world sport as viewed by the PDGA. And I appreciate that, we don't have as many players as a lot of other countries, but then we do have a lot more players than countries that don't get that invite. And yet I'd hate to see that kind of thing go by the wayside, If anybody had aspirations, and Brady, you've talked about it, of running a tournament in New Zealand that had a little bit more to it than even New Zealand nationals, right? So it maybe had a spot on an international tour, for example. How's that going to happen if the board of the organising New Zealand disc golf is not doing their job properly, and it seemed to be a bit sort of lackluster? Yeah, I think it's a shame.
It's definitely going to make a very interesting, panel coming up in a few weeks. So, like we're supposed to have a panel of TDs and movers and shakers of the future of New Zealand disc golf.
Yep.
One of them is currently on the, shall we call it, the New Zealand Executive Board. In fairness, they're still on the board until the AGM is held to vote on or off again, right? And because the AGM hasn't occurred yet, and because the kind of time period that the AGM would normally occur, which is the 31st of May, they're still in their term, right? My concern is, what happens if we get to the 1st of June and we've still not heard anything, or nothing's been organised? What happens? What happens then? Is this kind of like Russia and like Putin, and he can just like stay on the board forever? I didn't think the Russian influence extended this far.
Yeah, look, I don't know. I think it's disappointing. It's disappointing. And look, I'm sure I'm going to be atted for saying, "Oh, these people are volunteers and they do it off their own back and they're not paid and they're doing it in their own rubbish." Absolute rubbish. If you volunteer for a position like this, you're doing so knowing that you're not going to be paid, and with the knowing that the expectation is that you'll do your job properly. And if you're going to take up a position like that, and you're going to forego that responsibility, I'm sorry, I don't think that's a good enough reason.
And on that note, massive shout out to Roberts Cranstons for doing his job all year despite all of this when it comes to being tour director. I've been in that role before. I know how hard it is, and he's been doing a great job. So honestly, Roberts, kudos to you, bro. Thank you for being tour director this year.
Yeah, and I get it, right? I get it, because it is a thankless task. I've spoken to many people who have been on the board in the past. Brady, you're one of them, and there's many other people that I've spoken to who have been on the board previously, and it is a thankless task, and you have to deal with a lot of stuff, and you have to do a lot of work. Hopefully, with the growth of the game we've seen in the last 2 years, especially, there's enough people out there who are in a position of where there's no conflict of interest, where they're in a kind of neutral position with enough inclination and enough ability and what's the right word? Responsibility to want to take up the positions on this board, because it would be a shame. It would be a massive shame if for some reason NZDG had to kind of wind up for whatever reason because it couldn't find the people to fix it. When I know there's so many great people who play this sport up and down the country. I really hope that, if the current board don't want to do it anymore, fine. Tell us you don't want to do it anymore. And I think there's going to be a number of people who in that time would put their hand up, and I'd encourage them to, and I'd give them every encouragement to do their very best. Anyway, right, that's enough of that. Let's move on, lighten the mood a little bit. Brady, no tournament this year. We've had this weekend. We've had back-to-backs for about the last 4 weeks with the North Island Swing and then Lismore.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's going to rain this weekend, at least in Wellington.
Wet weekend.
Yeah, so But don't fear, there's lots of disc golf coverage, New Zealand disc golf coverage that you can tune into. So I don't know if you've seen, T-Box Media have dropped the third round and the final round of the Topol Classic from Topol, which looks fantastic. I watched the third round the other day, and yeah, enjoyed the coverage. Thought that Jared and Henry did a great job on commentary. That was really good to hear. And the boys down in Invercargill, I forget their name. Is it Blinking Lights? Is that the name of the people?
Oh shoot! They covered Smash. Wasn't Blinking Lights? Was it Blinding Lights? Johnny, you're with us. Who's the camera crew that covered Smash this year?
Because they've now released the fourth round of the Smash. Blinding Lights they've brought out the fourth round of the Smash, and the fourth round got really good towards the end. Brady, you were on the bag of one of the players there, so we'll look forward to watching that again. And if you can't remember the result of the Smash, don't look it up. Watch the fourth round, because it's very good and gets a bit juicy towards the end in the last sort of half a dozen holes. So so if it's going to be raining in your part of the country, then make sure that you tune in to that. Right, let's go through power rankings and finally and see where we are. Let's just get to here.
Yeah, I was going to say, you said the power rankings got it wrong. So the data analytics team not doing their job? Like, what's up?
Well, okay. Remember that the power rankings are there as a way of predicting what is in theory going to happen based on past results, right? So they're as much of a predictor as they are a kind of a show of most recent rankings. And yeah, there was some surprise results, which we'll go through in a second. So we got some events coming up. Omarama, we've spoken about on the 11th of June. Then the Timaru, 2 weeks after that. Then the Women's Global event. Really looking forward to this first weekend of August in Wellington and Auckland. And then the Paul Macbeth Foundation fundraiser. Still penciled in for the 17th of September. And finally, the Bros for Change charity classic in Christchurch on the 11th of November. As for the power rankings, they look like this. So Hayley Flintoft obviously stays top, no change there, and a little bit of a movement a little bit further down, with Stephanie, Fiona, and Echo moving up one. In the MPO side, Jane Watkins' win at the weekend takes him up 2 spaces to 4th. So well done to Jay. Ethan Stout, following his victory at Montana Flat and his performance at the weekend. Let me have a look. He came 4th at Lismore, and so he's moved up to where are we? Hang on a minute. He's gone up 4 places to 10th. Yeah. Dom Hayden's incredible 3rd place has moved him up 43 places to 12th. Absolutely fantastic. Love playing with Dom at Heislander. That was a particular highlight. So well done to him. Other big movers, Isaac Howard moving into the top 20, following his finish at his tied 4th place finish at Lismore as well. So well done to him. Okay, that's about it for today's show. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies. We'll see you next week. Cheers.